Today's episode comes to you from the Blue Chew Studio. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with the code WHW at BlueChew.com.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett, First Arcade, 605 NWA, TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team, Turner, Barton, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off, center stage, Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette, Champ, Vinnie, Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Thompson's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chair. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad the Mortgage Guy, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Conrad, should I change the open of that to, and now here's your host. Hey, it's Conrad the Mortgage Guy, since you legally changed your last name to the Mortgage Guy.
That'd be great. If you would be respectful of my personal decisions, that'd be fantastic.
Have we ever respected each other on this podcast at all?
The minute we do, we should retire the show. You know, that should be the end. This is Ball Busting 101, or at this point, it may be Ball Busting 102, but we are excited that you're here with us. We love hanging out with you guys each and every Monday. This Monday feels like a special Monday, Tony. You know, we are one day removed from, I think, one of the best AEW pay-per-views of all time. I think a lot of people are saying that. Revolution 2026 in Los Angeles, California. There's a lot of big moments. Mystico is all elite. He's also a trios champion. We've got new ladies tag champions. We saw maybe the gnarliest Texas death match of all time. Oh my. Everybody's talking about the syringe.
Yeah.
What will you remember last night most for?
Well, of course, and Jack Perry wins the national championship. I think what I remember last night for was the one thing that's going to stick in my mind is Hangman at the end lunging or falling forward and blooding up the lens of the camera.
Oh yeah.
That was that's going to be in my mind for quite a while. And obviously the syringe and all the craziness there that they went through. Give both guys credit, man. They busted their ass. And I know when we have a good pay-per-view, and here's how I know. Because, you know, Excalibur and I are doing all of it, right? So we're doing like 5.5 hours of TV. And by the time you get to the main event, if you're still pumped up as an announcer, you know you've had a good pay-per-view, I think. And I was still pumped up. I really was. I was very excited about seeing what the Texas Death Match would bring. I thought we had a variety of great things happen leading up to that. And, of course, we had a great crowd at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, which says a lot, I think, for our promotion. I really do. That now we're not the biggest promotion out there. No, and I realize that, but we certainly do. We certainly do make strides, and we certainly do make waves. And for those of you who love in-ring competition, I don't think you can find any better in-ring competition than what we have. So that's my party line right there, buddy.
Well said. I thought it was a fantastic show. I know that every now and again you'll hear, oh, the pay-per-views are too long. Yeah, but what would you cut out? There was so much good stuff. I mean, it really is banger after banger. And that's what you're going to see this weekend, Tony. It's going to be a special weekend in Rome, Georgia. It's like Arn Anderson's homecoming for 1FW. It's called the Rumble in Rome. It is going to be a TV taping for One Fall Wrestling. Lots of stars are already announced. Of course, the man of the hour, Arn Anderson, and his son Brock will be there, but so will Emmy Award winner Paul Walter Hauser and Orange Cassidy and Jeff Jarrett and Andrade El Idolo and Jay Lethal and Billy Gunn and Adam Priest and Harley Cameron. And maybe most of all, our very special guest this week, your friend and mine, Mr. QT Marshall. QT, how are you, man?
Great. How are you?
Man, we're excited that you're jumping on with us. It's going to be a big weekend this weekend.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be probably the biggest show in Rome, and they said at least 15 years or something like that. So
wow,
I'm pretty pumped. The building is very excited. The River Forum. They've told us that they've never really seen a pre-sale like this since they've taken over, and that was about 10 years ago. So
wow.
Oh wow, congratulations!
So Rome has been. Thank you. Rome has been coming out for us. So that's great. It's I'm very excited for it.
QT, you've put a lot of effort in 1FW, and it's really taken off. I mean, I was at center stage and saw the event there, and I know you got to be very happy with not only the effort but the success you've had so far.
Yeah, the kids that I call them kids because they're like my kids, but they work very hard every weekend. So getting to do a big show like this one in Rome or center stage or something like that is our way of kind of saying thank you to them. And then fortunately, I have a lot of nice friends in AEW that are willing to come in like yourself and kind of help out and give back. And so it's pretty good. I didn't really know what to expect when we started it. And I've obviously sunk a little bit of money into it, but maybe a lot of money, but it's going really well. I'm very, I can't be more thrilled, especially the fact that we have weekly television, on Peachtree Sports Network, and then also on Triller TV for free worldwide. We have Conrad Thompson on commentary with Brandon Benefield. So yeah, I mean, I get to watch it at my house every Tuesday night at 8:00 right on my big screen TV. So that's always cool to see.
I think we need to once again emphasize that, because I'm not sure that many of our fans know that Peachtree TV is in Atlanta, but Triller TV is all over, right?
Yeah,
so
worldwide.
Worldwide. So anybody can.
And we just gave, we wanted to just put it on the free part, you know what I mean? To kind of give our kids the most exposure possible. And, I know there's a lot of subscribers to Triller TV. So I think on Triller we air every Wednesday right before Dynamite, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. This way you have another half hour in between to just settle down and kind of get all your drinks and food ready and whatever you do while you watch Dynamite.
Well, I absolutely love the product. I think you've got a lot of great talent there, and I'd like for you to take a minute and sort of shout out some of the folks that you think some of our listeners should keep an eye on. Folks where you think maybe they are in their wrestling career, maybe they're in finishing school and they're ready to break through. I'm sure you have some talent you'd like to highlight like that.
For sure. I mean, one would be our breakout champion, Barry Morales, the Mexican rock star, right? He has that breakout title, that title was literally created so that way it would put a spotlight on somebody that we think is going to be the next guy to break out. Also our women's champion, Remy Reed, she turns 18 on March 25th. So yeah. But she signs waivers and so does her mom. So, but she does really well. I've been with her since she's 14, basically. She started training with Billy and I after she started with John Gresham. So she's excellent as well. And Helica Risk, she's like world traveled already, but she was part of the Nightmare Factory. Our second camp ever. Parker Lee's another one who's really starting to come into his own with his new characters, the new little shtick that he has. And then obviously you have Elijah Drago, Brady Booker. Those are our two, our main guys, that really set us apart from most other independent organizations.
Well, I'm excited for folks to check out 1FW. It's on Triller TV. You can check it out just before Dynamite each and every Wednesday. But if you're in the Georgia area, you should be in Rome this weekend. It's going to be the biggest show in 1FW history, maybe the biggest show in Rome in a couple of decades. Tickets are on sale now at 1FWlive.com. Everybody's going to be there, including Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson Appreciation Day of sorts. It's the Arn Anderson Homecoming. It's Rumble in Rome, and it's going to be on TV. So come be a part of the TV show, 1FWlive.com. QT, thanks for jumping on.
We have a better link that QT had given us. And Dave, if you have that link, you can put it up for everybody there. Is that the link?
Well, that's the website it'll take you to. If you click, the fresh ticks, you can go to 1FWlive.com as well, and then just go to events. Click the big Rumble in Rome photo. It'll take you right to this website. Or if you want to skip, you just Google 1FW Rumble in Rome, and this one will come right up. Fresh ticks.
Yeah. Fans, I think the description for today's show as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got it. And if you want to have a question for QT Marshall, just hashtag us at hashtag AskQT, because we're going to be looking at watching some of QT's matches as well.
Absolutely, we are. I'm really excited to watch this first one too. We are going to see a couple of matches from 1FW, but before we do, you've got a pretty big time celebrity, an award-winning actor who's going to be in the ring in Rome for you this weekend. I'm talking, of course, about Paul Walter Hauser. But it's not too long ago, you guys got together in the ECW arena, I think, and had a pretty hardcore match.
Yeah.
What are we about to watch here?
Man, something that I never thought I would ever tell anyone about, if I had to imagine it, right? I mean, I've performed in the ECW arena before, in the old Ring of Honor, before it was, bought up by Tony Khan and stuff like that. But I never really got to have like that match, the one that really would kind of, it's hard to go to the ECW arena and get those fans behind you. So when this opportunity came up, I was like, you know what? I think this is going to be very similar to when I wrestled Big Boom AJ in Full Gear. It was like, I think the fans are going to expect one thing, and we're just going to give them a whole something else. And we're going to get the crowd, to really be invested in what we were doing, which they were. I mean, by the end, you have an actor who not everyone knew was a wrestler, by the end chanting he's a wrestler, So to me, that was like a very proud moment for me that I was able to, at least be a part of that. And Paul, I mean, he worked his butt off. He really did.
Yeah,
and some of the stuff that he did was, well, we'll see. But, I won't take my actual hat off, but, take my hat off to him.
Before we get to this match, Conrad, we ought to mention that on last night on 0 Hour, fans got to see on the HBO Max app QT and Big Boom in a tag team match, and the Rizzler continues to get a big crowd pop when he does things, doesn't he?
He's incredible. I mean, the world, I don't think the world's ready for the Rizzler. He's the big draw. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I've been getting texts left and right with people screenshotting how many views his Instagram reels have been getting, and it's like, they can't believe it. And I mean, Shane Taylor shoved him so hard. He really did.
Yeah.
But Big Justice had his back, he shoved Rizzler, and Big Justice came running around that corner. I thought he was going to knock over Trisha Dora on the way, and then he just manhandled Shane. So poor Shane Taylor,
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah, what a sport. Wayne Brady got involved there as well.
Wayne Brady, I mean, what's going on? You
know
what I mean?
How about this?
If you showed somebody that match,
right,
and then showed them MJF versus Hangman, people would think they're two separate companies.
Yeah,
there's no way you would think, which is why we went on at 7:00 and they went on at midnight. You know what I mean? It makes sense.
Right. Yeah, the extremes, no doubt about it. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
That's so much fun. He just rubs that chin. He does that, and people go crazy.
Yeah, especially him and the girl.
Yes.
Christian XL.
Yeah,
I think she was smitten by Rizzler too.
And she's like what, 6'5" or 6? She's just,
I don't know. She kicks really hard. I'll tell you that much. She kicked me right in the solar plex.
Did she really?
Oh, yeah.
All right. We'll have to talk to her about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a great night, top to bottom, and we are looking forward to a great night in Rome. And I'm going to be there, and I'm very excited about being there once again. Rome of Georgia is Arn Anderson's hometown, as we know, and I think we did a WCW event back in the Rome Forum.
Yeah, they used to do a Saturday night there a lot.
Yeah.
Booker T wrestled Scott Hall.
Wow.
Yeah, I looked it up. I was very interested in learning the history of the Forum.
Right. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun on many levels for me and for their fans as well. All right, you ready to see this match?
Well, hang on. QT, where did you research the history of that building? What website did you rely on?
Well, a website that I only found out about after AEW. It's called cagematch.com or cagematch.net or whatever it is. I don't know.
Okay.
I only have to put CAG in my phone and it comes right up. So
I knew you and I had talked about it before, and I thought he's using it. He's actually using it.
So. I like reading the reviews of me because they're so mean. They're so mean that I just like reading them, and I like thinking, man, I wish I had the time to sit there and write, all of these notes about somebody else's life.
Right.
But I'll tell you what. QT versus Paul Walter Hauser was rated very high, and we had a lot of very positive cage match comments. So,
okay,
QT,
good.
Are you familiar with mean tweets on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yes, I would love to do that.
Well,
but I don't really get them as much anymore because I I think after the Big Boom AJ match and then Paul Walter Hauser and not being on TV all the time, people have really kind of turned the corner a little bit on me.
Well, here's what I was suggesting. Instead of mean tweets, why don't we just have you read mean cage match reviews? If you could read one mean cage match review, that would melt the internet.
Okay. Hey, we could do it. I'll do it. I have no problem.
Okay.
You know? Someone rated me a 0.0. I mean,
how do you do that? How do you get this?
Literally, you know, and that brings my average down. You know what I mean?
Listen to you.
I was like, oh, I have a lot of 7s. That's great. Wait, 0.0. You're killing me here. I feel like that's another wrestler that probably did that.
Probably so. Absolutely.
Yeah. Today, we're excited to introduce a new sponsor to the show, Morgan & Morgan. You know them, America's largest injury law firm. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years, and they've recovered over $30 billion for their clients. Not only are they one of our new sponsors, they're also the official law partner of WWE. And what I love most about Morgan & Morgan is that they're truly for the people. Check this out. Today, they're coming in hot, and they want to hook up one lucky fan with 2 tickets to WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. That happens this April 18th and 19th. That's right. They want to send one of you to Las Vegas to watch WrestleMania 42 live. In addition to the 2 tickets to WrestleMania, they're also going to be giving this lucky winner $2,000 to cover their travel expenses to Las Vegas. To enter, all you've got to do is text HEAT42 to For the People. That's HEAT 42 to the number 484-373-6753 and follow the prompts. Don't miss out on your chance to watch WrestleMania 42 live. Just text HEAT42 to For the People. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the contiguous United States and D.C. who are 18 and older. Sweepstakes end March 29th, 2026. This is a paid advertisement. It's somebody who's disgruntled with their 1FW payoff.
Right.
Yeah.
Zero. There's a lot of them.
Well, let's take a look at a pretty special match. This was Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor 2025. I guess it's from late August last year at the 2300 Arena. I'm pretty excited about this one. Let's take a look. It's QT Marshal and Paul Walter Hauser, all brought to you by Honor Club. Go sign up. Not only do you get the weekly TV, you also get the monthly PLE, and you can see all these fabulous archives. Your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler used to wrestle at Ring of Honor. See all their early stuff at watchroh.com. Well, here we go, man. Pretty fired up. QT in the ECW arena.
The stage is set for a war here tonight.
I brought the robe back.
This match is set from one fall to a finish, and it is a fight without honor.
Who inspired the road, GT?
Jim Cornette.
Okay.
When I signed in 2012, he said, get a robe. I said, can I cut the sleeves off? And he told me, you're God's gift to pro wrestling. You're not God's gift to biceps. I said, okay.
That sounds like a Cornette line.
And the only thing I could afford at the time was something very basic. So.
And what year was this when you started doing the robe?
2012.
Wow.
And I hated it because I couldn't work out beforehand because you couldn't get it all sweaty. And so.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks kind of nice.
Yeah, it does. It's got a kind of a ravishing Rick Rude look to it.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, back then I was in really good shape. Like I am now, actually. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But, I kind of lost my love for wrestling during the Ring of Honor period.
What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about Paul Walter Hauser?
That right there. No. Yeah, I think, he's just such a diehard wrestling fan that I think, obviously when people hear celebrities want to wrestle, they get their feelings all, twisted right away without actually understanding. I mean, this guy probably knows more about wrestling than most people, than most wrestling fans. So he just happens to be an actor. He's one of those, right? He's a wrestler in his heart, but I think acting was the thing that got him to get to be a wrestler, if that makes sense. Kind of like the opposite of my pal Cody,
Wow.
He became a wrestler to be an actor,
Yeah.
So, But yeah, I mean, he was all jazzed up. He had gear. I thought he was going to come out in sweatpants and a t-shirt, and especially in a fight without honor match where there's no rules.
Right.
Know? He had his wrestling gear all set up. So is he Italian? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out still.
I don't know. I don't think he is. But man, he's showing off those freaking legs. Oh, he kills me. And he not only is he an actor, he's a damn good actor. I mean, let's face it. Yeah. He sent me a text one day and it just blew me away. He said, "What a year it's been." He said, "I had a chance to work with you," and he QT, and he listed Clint Eastwood, and I'm thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm in a text with Clint Eastwood. I think, Jesus.
Yeah, why is Clint Eastwood with us? He's like down here,
Yeah, exactly. We put him at the bottom. Oh, this is good, man.
Yeah, a little bit of wrestling,
Oh yeah, working the crowd. I love it.
QT, were you a big ECW fan?
Not really. I couldn't watch it. It was on too late, so I would try to tape it, every chance I could. Once Scott Hall went there, I started watching, but that was towards, the tail end, obviously.
Yeah.
But same thing with WCW too, right? Like when Scott Hall went there, that's when I started watching WCW.
Sure.
But growing up in New Jersey, we really didn't know too much, and I didn't, pay attention. My brother had the computer. I wasn't really allowed on the computer, so it was basically whatever I saw on TV.
Who were your favorites growing up?
Scott Hall, then Shawn Michaels, and then The Rock. Those are like my three, I guess I would say. And then going back and start watching all the older stuff is like Mr. Perfect and Rick Rude, Ric Flair. Just, I just like being entertained. And as long as the wrestling is good enough that you can't see any holes in the game, I'm good. That's my guys.
Right.
How much discussion happens before the day of the event on a match like this with a celebrity, with all the stipulations on a pay-per-view? Feels like this would be more pressure than a regular match, right?
A little bit. I mean, it was like a couple text messages, and he said he had a bunch of ideas, and I was like, all right, cool. I don't know if you think, these are all going to work or not, but one of the things I've learned over the years is I'm not going to argue with anybody about what they want to do. As long as I'll be okay at the end, it's what you want to do, man. If I could put it maybe in a different position of the match or something to try to create a little more excitement. But for the most part, the last thing I want is for someone to be done and have a bad experience wrestling against me.
Right.
So, but yeah, he did it. He had some good ideas, and I had a couple myself. And then this one coming up with the chairs, that was one of my good friends, Sanjay Dutt.
Mm-hmm.
He had a pretty good idea of throwing the chair at him, and like kind of like a movie.
Yeah.
Here it comes. And I was game for it, but it's like, sure, whatever you want, guys.
We had Sanjay on with us last week, and he decided to stay in the dark to only where we could see his glasses shining.
Oh my God.
And his part of his bald head. So that's all we could see.
He was doing his best Beavis. Or Butthead, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, he was Cornholio last week.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The only the hard part about these matches is I can control what I do. I can kind of control what Paul does, but we can't control what the furniture does.
Right.
And how heavy it's going to be and picking stuff up. And, so that was always the trying to figure out what's going on here.
Well, yeah, that's again, that's always the unknown element. I mean, it happens in every match, I mean, it happened last night, right?
Oh yeah.
All the crazy stuff they were doing, you just don't know what's going to happen, really.
Yeah. Especially, there's a rule I have. Yeah. And it's I don't get in the ring on show day until the match. I just don't believe in it. I believe that's how people get hurt. And also, I'm not going to try anything the night of an event that I haven't done numerous times, just because we're live. But obviously, I don't have a a ladder and tables at my gym that I could just start messing around with. And, these are things that you don't want to really practice, I guess.
Sure.
You know, when I went to wrestling schools, they never really said, "Oh, this is how we do the ladder class and go to the tables and stuff like that." So we just kind of, hey, these are what we're going to do. And, again, trying to figure out what side of the ring is everything on. And, I was talking to Wayne Brady last night, and he was just saying, the idea of you guys not going in there and rehearsing this. And it's like, yeah, no, we just kind of go out there and, it's not that difficult, but it is at the same time. Right.
Yeah. Well, that's very old school in many ways. I mean, it really is. And it worked for decades like that. And
yeah, it still works today, I think. But I think once you get he did a really good Dusty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He really did.
Right.
And see, like what he just did there, you can't teach it. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to perform or not. And, a lot of the times I've caught myself not performing as much because I'm focused more on, oh, geez. Yeah. I told him, I was like, it's going to hurt.
Sign up for that. My goodness.
Yeah. Every time I see a bump like that, I know, like you said, it's hurting. This is hurting these guys. It blows me away.
I mean, when I threw him, as I was throwing him, I told him this is going to hurt. Just to let him know, like, hey, there's nothing. I can't place you on here. I have to throw you. And he was, he was all game for it. So
yeah,
here's going to be a little. So I saw someone do this.
Yeah.
I forget who did it. And then I did it once on an indie show. And I was the one that took it. And man, I guess because I'm, I've been doing slingshots for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I cracked my head so hard.
Oh,
so
wow.
I tried to not, crack his head too hard.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia, I don't understand how, but Conrad, we spoke about this. Like Pennsylvania is a commission state.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for, I think because NXT was, they were going to be there or they were there right before us or something like that. The Commissioner Gordon was very, there's Paul. Yeah. This is all he wanted to do, man. He just wanted to get, he wanted to do a death match. And I said, all right, well, I'll get a bag of tricks, a box of tricks, I should say. And, again, he's like, well, the barbed wire is not real, right? I said, of course it's real. It'll rip your shirt. Like, you can't go out there with fake barbed wire. That's why I'm not going to touch it with my hands. He couldn't believe it. He was like, oh, shoot. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how they do things at your indie show that you do, but we're going to do it,
Oh, God. I love this.
Yeah. And then one of the things for me is I hate getting cuts on my hands. I just hate it, just because then, it affects you like a lot, my finger. Yeah. So I was very diligent when I picked that stuff up. I ended up getting a cut on my leg that I looked down the other day when I was getting ready to go tanning, and I still have the scar right on my leg.
From this night?
From this night, yeah. And I don't even know how I got it. So, of course, I think he kind of didn't know where he wanted to go, and he just waffled me in the head with the chair. And I was like, oh, no.
I
don't know if you guys were doing they look like a WWE YouTube right there where they don't want to show the chair shot with the head, I don't know. My computer froze for a second.
Yeah.
They used to do that. They don't do it anymore, thank goodness. Not that I watch WWE's YouTube channel.
No, why would you ever do that?
And look
there
at
he is.
There's our man.
Yeah.
That's there. The great Aaron Solo.
Yeah. Solo only gets, a couple opportunities to do stuff. So he waffled with that thing.
We were talking about Solo the other day, QT. What a great kid. Gee whiz.
Yeah. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Does his job.
Damn right.
Really great in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the best assistants you can have if I need it.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, I need you to do this. You got it. I need you to do that. And I told him if I get in trouble, if it looks like I'm in trouble, I need you to come out here and help me. Especially if I need to help pick up a table or something like that. Because as you can see, it's very heavy.
I discovered traveling with QT as I do a lot that he has friends and connections all over the world. When we went to Arena Mexico, I'm thinking, how are we going to get to the arena? QT said, I got a guy.
Oh wow.
And it was great.
Yeah, Tony the driver.
Tony the driver.
Mexican driver, you know.
Yes, yeah, he picked us up. He took us. He back and forth. It was great, man.
Right, he was driving on the shoulder. He was making sure we got there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah, he picked me up one time for AAA, and that was it. The rest is history.
Yeah. So he's got assistants everywhere, like Aaron Solo right here.
Yeah. I remember when I was in AAA, I felt bad because we were filming with Robert Peak, and I didn't want to go on the shuttle, so I got an Uber, and that's who it was. It was Tony.
Right.
We got the Uber Black, big car and all that stuff.
Right.
I just remember like the entire AAA like bus just like staring at me, like, who does this diva think he is? With the film crew, and I was like, oh,
That's good.
QT, over the weekend, maybe the hottest attraction in all of Mexico was announced as being All Elite. For some of our listeners who maybe aren't aware, let them know what a big deal Mystico being a part of AEW is in Mexico.
Yeah, I think it's gonna Hook. Something about
what?
Hook. He's just a delinquent, just look at this. Just had to get involved, ECW arena. My dad is where he came from, and I'm Hook, and
I'm wearing orange.
Walks out, hurts Aaron Solo, takes him away. All my help.
Yep.
Apparently him and Paul Walter Hauser are friends though. So, but yeah, I mean, Mystico, going back to what your question is, I think it's going to be huge for us, especially because obviously Mystico was in America, over 10 years ago, but he wasn't, the person that was in charge of him didn't understand who he was. Let's put it that way. And I think Tony Khan understands who Mystico is. I think he knows, obviously, how to utilize him in the best way possible. So I think he's gonna do really well for us. And obviously them winning the trios titles last night, I think they'll probably go down to CMLL a lot and defend down there and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
So this is the story that Paul talks about.
Okay.
He said he wanted to give me an air raid crash, which is, I'm on his shoulders. He's supposed to hook my head underneath him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I told him I'm pretty heavy at the time. Jeez. So at the time I was like 245. I'm a little smaller now. And he picked me up and he was like, oh, you're pretty heavy. So I just grabbed onto him and I said, well, just go. I figured he would just turn and just go backwards like a Samoan drop.
Right.
And then he front flipped with me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. Like, obviously it hurt very badly, but in my inside, I was just hysterically laughing. Like, what is going on here? Like, out of all the things to improv, that's what you chose. You know what I mean? Like, but he was going for it, like I said, he told me beforehand, and, he really wanted to earn the respect from the audience. Like this, I mean, Tony Khan approved us wrestling at an AEW event. And he said, I don't want to be at an AEW event for this particular match. I want it to be Ring of Honor. I want it to be in the ECW arena.
Wow.
I pitched all in Texas,
I love it.
and he was like, no, we gotta, I said, okay. Yeah. See, I believe in trying to protect myself as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, good job on that, brother.
Yeah.
So it's a shark coming at your forehead.
And I've met too many people that have been hit in the head with chairs too many times. So
yeah, I know.
Man, what a story of Paul saying, no, I don't want All In. I want the East.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, you're going to get it, I guess.
This sucks.
Man. It's like, I remember telling Paul Turner after I kicked out, I should have stayed down.
Yeah.
Paul I've known for so long. So
Right.
I always, him and Stefan, those are my guys. But yeah, I try to, mess with them as much as I can while I'm in there. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's his Tony Award.
Yeah. It's
Somewhat.
Golden Globe.
Golden Globe.
Yeah.
The Golden Globe. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, watch this shot. I mean, you can't teach that. I don't know how many people he's walked around and hit in the face with a Golden Globe before, but he got me, but just enough for me to take a bump and not knock my really nice teeth out. So
what's in the box?
Oh my God.
Glass. My gosh.
Yeah.
Woo. This is a little crazy here, QT.
Yeah. As you could see, I didn't want to, I guess those were what he talked to his people about.
It looks like,
go ahead, Schiavone.
It looks like the thick glass you see on church walls. What is it called?
Right. Yeah, the window panes.
Yeah, the window. Yeah, stained glass, right?
Stained glass. There you go.
Which is very thick.
Yeah, I hit him right in the head with one piece.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't want to cut my hands. So this is my homage to.
Oh God. Oh, great shot.
I didn't even know that we could show this on YouTube. My gosh.
Taking a shower after that was not fun.
Oh God. You see, is this a finish?
No,
it kicked out.
No, that I don't. This is the one where the best. Like I was always taught in a wrestling match, one guy gets over by winning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was told one guy goes over and one guy gets over.
Yes,
sure. That's always the mentality I have going into a wrestling match. Like if I'm gonna be the guy that happens to get his hand raised. Mm-hmm. How do we get this other guy to still be able to take a big step forward in their career? Because if not, then we're just kind of beating somebody, and we could just use a local talent for that. So,
yeah, and it's something that I was thinking about during this entire match, and even thinking about today, that people don't understand that it really takes two, and great matches are not just one great athlete performing.
No, and
it's not. It's like,
well, I'm laughing at this because so it's very rare that I forget stuff.
Okay,
right? It's very rare.
All right.
He really wanted to go in the thumbtacks without his shirt on.
Oh, okay.
And as I picked him up, because again, a lot of the things take a lot of time to set up, the tables, the ladders, the this, and that. So you try to factor it into the time that you're using, but everyone's allotted so much time, and we don't want to, even though we're on a stream, we still don't want to run heavy. It's disrespectful to the guys after us and girls after us and so on and so forth. And when I grabbed him, as I picked him up, which he was pretty worried about his shirt not being lifted. So he didn't, we tried to help each other. He didn't help me at all. I just had to pick him up. But because of that, he was, trying to do this.
Trying to lift his shirt up.
When I slammed him, he forgot to breathe. And when I looked down at him, he was just, and I was like, oh man, Paul, I don't think he's okay. And then he's like, he says he's fine. I was like, there's no way he's fine. Like not only did I powerbomb him, but I powerbombed him in the corner of the ring. And he wasn't, but like I said, man, he really, he won me over with this. Now I booked him for this weekend to wrestle Jeff Jarrett in a tables match. So
wow,
he obviously had to win me over somewhat.
Yeah, let's talk about that. How in the world does that come to be? Jeff Jarrett at 29 years young, wrestling in a tables match against a Golden Globe. And this isn't on Ring of Honor. It's not on AEW. It's on 1FW at 1FW Live this weekend in Rome. That's pretty big time, man.
Yeah, Paul was a special referee a couple of weeks ago. We did a live TV taping in LaGrange, Georgia. He was the referee for their match, and they got a little heated, and Paul actually shoved Jeff over a table, and then they had a interaction in the back, and they said, hey, we want to settle this in a tables match. And I said, well, that's great, because I don't have any tables, so I'm going to have to buy some tables now. So our expenses just went up again. But, if it's for Paul Walter Hauser and Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett, I think we should say yes. So I'm excited for it. And Jeff's friend, country musician Michael Ray is going to be man, that always gets me every time. He's going to be the special guest referee because he really doesn't have to do much. So I figure, add a little bit of some celebrityness to the show, even though Paul's already a celebrity himself. But man,
that's exciting. That's this weekend in Rome. Tickets on sale now. Check it out. Rumble in Rome this Saturday.
So this is the finish. Like I said, I'm very unselfish when it comes to pro wrestling and winning and losing and so on and so forth. But Paul was very adamant that it's not a match that the wrestler should lose or should win. Right. Well, lose, yeah. And I said, okay, well then this is what I would like to do then at the end. Pay homage to Diamond Dallas Page, who gave me the diamond cutter one night when I think he had a little too many. And can't say no. And that's it. That's all she wrote. No one gets up from my diamond cutter.
Damn straight, brother. And look at the fans cheering.
Yeah, like I said, I think very similar to Big Boom AJ. The Big Boom AJ, they were expecting nothing, and we gave them enough that it shocked them. And here, I don't think they were thinking they were going to see anything like this.
Right.
This may have been a Ring of Honor version of Randy Orton and Mick Foley right here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when I went for the diamond cutter. He threw me into the glass. That was my homage to that match. That's always been a favorite of mine. But yeah, I remember afterwards, somebody mentioned to me that they thought this. They said Twitter saying this was the match of the night.
Yes,
and I said, wow, like okay, yeah, They said, have you looked at Twitter? I said, not really. I'm with my wife and we're driving home and I don't really pay attention to it too much. And then they said, I thought Hechicero and Bandito was better. And I said, well, yeah, I would hope that the two guys that are professional wrestlers be in the main event for the belt would be better than myself versus Paul Walter Hauser. But I appreciate the compliment, I guess. It was wild, I said, I don't know if I should be thanking you for that half compliment or what, but But yeah, here, like I said, this was something that I just felt should have been done. I didn't think this is nothing we talked about. I talked to anyone about beforehand. I'm not a hugger. There you go, right on the head.
Yeah.
And then I gave him the ring. Let him soak it up. And these people were going crazy for him. And I mean, I think for him, as good of an actor as he is, I think these emotions that he's showing right here were 100% real.
Yeah. And once again, he deserves it, but it takes two, man. And look at those. When I talked to him, did an interview with him afterwards, and I could tell he had those thumbtacks still stuck in his arm and his elbow and everything. As he's talking to me.
He wanted to save those.
Yeah.
And then he had his friend there, right? Milton from Office Space was there.
Stephen Root was there, right?
Yeah. It was great.
I know. Stephen Root, man, what a great actor he is. And I was shocked to see him.
Tony, you've been around wrestling a long time. Is there anybody, as long as you've been watching wrestling, who reminds you of Paul Walter Hauser, like a wrestler who crossed over and did it like this with that level of fandom and that level of commitment? Anybody in history you can think of?
Are you going to try to say David Arquette?
No. I was
all right.
I legit had not even thought of that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, can we just be honest for a minute? Sometimes as a bigger boy, it is hard to find things that fit you right. Specifically jeans. It feels like none of the jeans were ever made for me. That is until I found the perfect jean. The perfect jean fits great. It fits my body exactly the way it exists right now, whether you got thick thighs or an athletic build, and no matter what you're doing. What you're going to find about the perfect jean is it's like as comfortable as wearing sweatpants, but still somehow stylish and iconic. Not only that, I think it might be the best deal around. What are you normally paying for jeans? I know some of my friends are paying like $200 for jeans, but the perfect jean is a great value. You could get it at like $79. I got to tell you, if you've been shopping for jeans the same way for years, you owe it to yourself to try the perfect jean. Don't do what you've always done. Go to the store, try on 10 pairs. None of them fit right. Maybe they fit your waist, but your thighs can't even get in. Maybe they fit your thighs, but the waist is so loose you could fit like a whole nother person in there. And don't worry, you don't have to go spend $20 or $30 getting them tailored, and it's still not going to fit right. Instead, you're going to be rocking the perfect jean. And it's perfect for guys who have big thighs, whether you're in wrestling or powerlifting or CrossFit, or maybe you just never skip leg day. Finally, there's a solution for you too. And this is just in time for March Madness and for St. Patrick's Day. I want you to know, though, you're not 18 anymore. You can't be wearing those joggers to dinner. You don't want to look like you're going to the gym 24/7. You need to look nice, but you also want to be comfortable. The perfect jean is perfect for guys like me and you. These are soft, confidence boosting, stretchy perfection that's going to fit your build and make you look so damn good. Your girl's not going to be able to keep her hands to herself, or your guy. No judgment here. 6 fits from skinny to thick. You can get those waists from 26 to 52. They've even got links 26 to 38. Guys, that's like over 5,000 ways to find your perfect fit. Not only can they hook you up with the jeans, but they've got great den khakis. I'm telling you, if you want to look good, but you want to feel good, you're talking the ultimate in comfort. Look no further than the perfect jean. They've got a great mid-weight plush brushed quarter pullover. Yeah, it's a quarter zip pullover that's luxuriously soft, but it's built with like this 4-way stretch knit. So as you moves, it moves with you. But most importantly, it elevates your whole outfit. And don't just take my word for it. Over 500,000 men have made the switch. Anytime you see Tony Schiavone or Jeff Jarrett or Eric Bischoff, or for that matter, Bruce Pritchard, anybody on our network looking good in jeans on TV or in a promo photo, I assure you it's the perfect jean. They've been with us for years because these are the most comfortable jeans a man could ever own. Thousands of athletes, wrestlers, power lifters, CrossFitters, guys who just lift regularly, they've donated their entire jean collection after they tried just one pair. Among the 35,000 different 5-star reviews, you'll see the same phrase used over and over: as comfortable as sweatpants. It doesn't get any better than that. And right now, our listeners can get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc, or just Google The Perfect Jean and use the code WHW15 and you'll get 15% off. One more time, use that promo code WHW15 and you'll get 15% off at theperfectjean.nyc. But yeah, that's the other answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is the other answer.
And Andy Kaufman.
Andy Caldwell, yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Now, next up, we've got some 1FW. I believe from the looks of it, this might actually be at the 1FW Arena, or is this center stage?
No, this is the 1FW Arena. This is recent, I think. Yeah, this is very recent. There's Rosario Grillo. He's really coming to his own.
Yeah.
Big cannoli, right. He's going to be teaming with Valentina Rossi against Orange Cassidy and Harley Cameron on Saturday.
Wow.
So, yeah, Orange Cassidy said, I guess, Rosario is always at AEW. He's got a bunch of different roles at AEW, and I think something must have happened between him and Orange. So Orange doesn't seem to be the type of guy that gets upset very easily, but for whatever reason, they asked if they could have this match, and Harley's the best, so figure why not? You got to put some mixed tag wrestling on a show. I try to give the fans a little bit of everything,
Yeah, QT, you're much slimmer right here than you were in that first match.
Well, I spent all my money on the studio, so I can't eat anymore.
There's a great shot right there.
Yeah,
that is a great shot from the corner.
And he's got his whole cartello with him,
Yeah,
Cartello Grillo. What I like about these matches is, I'm trying to teach the guys, even though it's not really the business model as much anymore, meaning like AEW, for instance, we do a lot of longer matches. We always have to get through our advertising breaks. So a lot of these matches are, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. This one, we probably went a little longer than normal, but I try to get them to understand, sometimes you just got to give them a little bit and give them everything you have. But, it's very easy. I feel it's pretty easy to get over in 20 minutes. I think it's a lot more difficult to get over in 5 or 6. And unfortunately, when you're trying to make it to the next level, you don't really get the chance to go 15, 20 minutes. So you might only get 6. So if you can get over in 6 And, so we try to get right to it. I say Attitude Era style. Fans might not understand what that means, but a lot of those matches were 3-4 minutes. And, when I used to go to the house shows up in New Jersey, it didn't matter who walked out there. Everyone was a star.
Right. I like this shot once again from the corner.
I challenge anybody, this is, outside of AEW and WWE and perhaps TNA, and I don't even think the gap is that wide with TNA. I mean, this is the best looking wrestling show around. As far as independent wrestling goes, I don't think there's a comparable, Tony.
Well, QT has put a lot of effort into the lights and production, and you get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
The effort you put into it.
So we joke about me that I lose my cool very quickly in wrestling. I say I try not to take it.
Really? I've never seen that.
Especially in the ring.
Okay.
There's like these unwritten rules that I guess they're written, but I was taught these specific set of rules.
All right.
And one of them is like, if you're the bad guy,
right,
and you're supposed to stop the good guy, don't do anything that like is going to make the fans not boo you. And I there was a couple of times where I've told John, hey, stop me, which to me means like, hey, like knee me in the stomach, And the first one, he blocked my punch and I let it slide.
Okay.
I let him punch me and whatever. And then the next one, he did it again.
Yeah.
Where he like broke my hands and then he punched me. So then I just hit him back and I threw him out of the ring. And I just said, how about something shitty next time? Sorry. That's one of my favorite bumps.
Really?
I did it. I took one last night with Shane Taylor pulling the top rope. It's just no one does it anymore, Right.
Sure.
You see it on Raw a lot, but the guy like stands on the middle rope and spreads them, and then the guy takes like a small one. It's like, come on, you got to go full tilt,
Sure.
And it always gets a big reaction because no one's expecting it. So, but it hurts a lot. You always slam your leg onto the edge of the apron, and John's doing pretty good for himself. Rosario, sorry.
Yeah, Rosario is, and I can't wait to tell him I watched this match.
There you go. Yeah,
because I love to give him a hard time, and he's a good kid that can take it too.
Well, what happened in Orlando? We did a match in Orlando. Oh man, I just realized I forgot to. I sent in a letter to legal today about getting paid for some wrestling matches, and I forgot Orlando.
Oh,
because I'm not a contracted wrestler anymore. So every time I wrestle, I have to, just like a local talent, I got to fill out paperwork, and I always forget. I always do it on the back end, and I just realized now because Rosario Grillo was in the match.
Right.
I hit him with the diamond cutter.
Right.
And this is a dark match with Stephen Borden, where he's getting some good reps that Tony was talking about last night. And when I hit the diamond cutter, I turned around and I guess I hit him so hard with it. Ooh,
I know.
There's my homage to Shawn Michaels.
Right.
You'll see a little bit of all those guys that we spoke about earlier. You'll see a lot of that in what I do. I don't believe in just ripping one person off. Just take a little bit from everybody.
Yeah, rip a whole decade off.
That's right. Yeah. If you take a little bit from everybody, I know I'm getting sidetracked, but anyway, I'll finish that part. Rosario Grillo, I drove him into the mat so hard that he bounced back up, and when I turned around, the back of his head hit me in my nose, and it just started just gushing blood everywhere. So. And now that's on record, so I might have to ask for a little bit more money for that match.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
and I took that little factoid and ran with it. And every time I see even Rosario, I say, "Are you going to hurt anybody tonight, you piece of shit? You hurt QT, the last person that you said hurt in this company, for crying out loud. He's got a broken nose." And we went back to the hotel, and I called Rosario. I said, "He's in the hospital. His nose is just gushing blood."
The superplex is another thing I think always gets a great reaction, and Rosario hasn't been to the top rope since he broke his ankle, which was a couple of years ago. He jumped off and landed on his feet, and Brody King forearmed him in a House of Black match, and he broke his ankle. So I told him to go to the top rope, and he was a little hesitant, and then when I grabbed him, He said, I said, superplex. And he said, I've never done that. And I thought in my head, who cares? You're not doing anything. I'm just going to throw you, you know?
Right.
And we have a really good editor named Dylan. He does an excellent job. So he I'm sure he did a little bit of magic there, but we were up there for at least an extra 10 seconds of him trying to argue with me to tell me that he can't do this. And I'm like, there's nothing for you to do. And then afterwards, when we landed, he goes, oh, that wasn't bad. I was like I'm not going to hurt you, you know?
QT, what doesn't look like it hurts? Like, what would fans not think is like as devastating or painful as it really is? What doesn't look like much, but really sucks?
Well, it depends on who's doing it, but just a regular elbow drop. I mean, and it's any move that you cannot move with. Let's put it that way. So if you're laying flat on the mat and you don't have the chance to sit up a little bit and go with the blow, that's why all these guys, they get knocked out in the slap fighting or whatever, because they have to keep their head straight and they can't turn with it. I would figure out how to work that and turn with it or something, and no one would ever knock me out. But yeah, like anything like that where you get squished, honestly, the ropes hurt more than anything. The steel cables, like we use real ropes here just because I like to be different than everyone else. But there's, like AEW, the cables are so tight that, I mean, if you hit them the wrong way, they just hurt. That's why, whenever you see Tough Enough or all those shows, when they're hitting the ropes, they have all the bruises and everything because your body's just not callous to it.
Right.
But,
hey, we have never really talked about that, but I have noticed AEW uses cables, Ring of Honor uses cables, 1FW uses ropes. Why is that? Just to get everyone on your roster ready for both? Because on the
and on our live events we use cables.
Okay.
But for TV, as long as they're harder to maintain, so you have to buy them more often, and a lot of places don't have the resources to do that.
I got you.
So, but I just think they look nicer.
Yes.
And you can't keep them as tight. So there's stuff. Oh, there it is. There's stuff you could do to them. Like you could tie yourself in the ropes,
Right.
AEW, I don't think there's anyone that's going to be able to tie themselves in those ropes.
No.
Right.
And actually I learned on ropes. So to me, that's really all I knew. The Monster Factory back in the day, it was the ring that they used in Rocky 3. So they didn't really, those ropes you couldn't do anything on.
Right.
I don't know if we've established this, but that's where you trained, right? First at
Monster Factory. Yep.
QT, I wanted to ask, there's been some discussion online. I know you got a chuckle out of. Will you set the record straight on ring sizes? Like what size ring did WWE use? What did WCW use? What did ECW use? What does AEW use? What does Ring of Honor use? What does 1FW use?
Okay, so WWE is 20 by 20. AEW is 20 by 20, but AEW uses a longer a turnbuckle, not the pad. The actual strut is longer, which gives us more room on the actual apron of the ring, because very similar to New Japan, our guys love to slam themselves on the absolute hardest part of the ring. So we have a lot more room over there. ECW was 18 after talking to my good friend Taz. They were 18 foot. WCW was 18 for a lot of them. They just, the difference with WCW is, and I don't know, Tony, if you knew this, but sometimes their posts were a little shorter. So like for Saturday night or worldwide, so the ring wasn't as high, or the actual height of the ring itself, or the floor of the ring, was a lot lower. So it would be like up to maybe their thigh as opposed to their waist. And, I actually had at the Nightmare Factory years ago, I actually bought a ring that was from the power plant. But this thing was rough. It was rough. But then I gave it back to the gentleman who owned it, because he used to keep it in his backyard. But it had the ring post with the bar on the outside. Like, remember Paul White, when he broke the ring, he held onto those poles and did it.
Right.
So that's really why I wanted that ring, just for that reason alone.
Okay, we moving on to another match. Is this a go-go?
It is Anthony Ogogo and QT Marshal.
Yeah, a little thicker QT right here.
Yeah.
This is recent. This is sometime last year, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit after the Paul Walter Hauser stuff. I think this was our first taping at the studio because we didn't have everything upgraded yet. The new lights and the big screen and so on and so forth.
Silva, if you have commentary, I think I did commentary on this match.
Oh, we got to hear it. Let's go.
QT, of course, with the experience advantage on Ogogo. Now Ogogo tricked by QT Marshal.
What a tangled web we weave here in 1FW.
So QT teaching Ogogo everything he knows, but not everything QT knows. Wait, he's biting him.
That's more my speed. I like it, Brandon.
Biting him, Conrad.
He probably tastes like blood sausage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah. Nice scoop, nice slam, center of the ring.
I got Tony. Look at Tony.
1FW.
How do you like doing commentary, Conrad?
I think that's the third match on the show that night. So this is the third match I ever called over.
Oh my goodness.
So answer the question. How do you like doing commentary?
I'm terrible at it, but I'm doing my best.
No, I don't think you're terrible at all.
You're not.
Schiavone, what do you think? You're the pro.
Yeah, I know you're not terrible at all. I know what terrible is, and it's not you.
Yeah, I've every
Let's
time
get
I
on somebody, Tony, who is terrible to give us
who's
a
terrible, Tony.
Louis Spicoli was terrible, and he's dead. Okay, he was.
Wow.
We used Louis a couple times, and it was like, oh my god.
Man.
Is that the girl? Is that Ogogo's wife?
It is, and she's she's an actress. She was in the new Superman. She was one of Lex Luthor's henchwomen.
Oh wow, that's awesome. How about that?
Yeah, so the story of this match is Anthony, like a lot of people in wrestling, if they're not on TV every week, they wonder what could they do better? What could they do to? And I don't really know the answer, honestly, right? It's who knows.
Yeah.
But when I found out that his wife is a performer, as he is, I said, well, why don't we work together? Because the best way I could, give my opinion is if I'm actually in there with you. And then if we tried something like this, which we didn't, I don't even know if we aired it, but I know she did a promo in the ring, and this is kind of like their new act. And the idea of that was to show our boss Tony that Anthony's been working. He's been doing our live events, and it's not for the lack of trying. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
So,
yeah, he's a solid kid too, man.
He is a real nice guy.
Real nice guy. Yeah.
I think it's very hard for someone like him because, he's used to boxing and stuff that, you can't. If you win, you win. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Right?
Right. Exactly. Right.
And, but I mean, I do remember when he wrestled Cody at Double or Nothing in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Tony was telling us the idea of, what he wanted to do with me and this whole idea of the factory. And I just remember telling him, it's a huge spot for someone pretty new. And I think hearing that makes a lot of people think that that's because I wanted the spot. Which is not true at all. I was more than okay with doing whatever we needed to be done because I just like having a job. That's the way I thought at the time. I just like having the job. So I'll do whatever you need me to do. But it's a big spot to be in. And not just the wrestling part. It's everything, right? Just the promos leading up to it and being on social media. And, you're not dealing with anyone. You're dealing with, obviously, right now is the biggest star in professional wrestling, right? So, and it's not like much has changed when it comes to who he is and how he thinks and stuff like that. So he was probably in his mind the biggest star, and he knew what he was wanted to do and so on and so forth. So I just think he got a little bit too much too early, maybe, and it's hard to go backwards once you're there. So, but he hasn't given up. He keeps, he's trying as best he can. He's on independent shows. I just got an email that he's trying to go to England and do those Butland shows. It's like those, they do like a 30-day. It's like every night you're in front of the same crowd. So you really got to.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he's trying.
Yeah, that's how you learn, man.
But he does a great job, I mean, obviously, for someone that's had only a handful of matches, you're going to miss stuff and forget stuff. But one of the things is when we have these shows, Conrad, as you've seen, I don't really have time to hang out and go over stuff because I have to worry about, you switching the lights and making sure the music is good. So a lot of the other talent, when they come up to me, they kind of know, like, just leave me alone. And also, I mean, we can figure it out when we're out there. Because I'm not Will Ospreay, I'm not going to be doing anything so crazy that, I have to, not saying that he does either. He just does some wild stuff. So, but it's nothing that I think I'm going to get someone on their heels and they're not going to be able to figure out what's going on.
Speaking of that, Will Ospreay returns last night and then goes back to doing his crazy shit. And I'm thinking, what?
Well, I try not to get out on Twitter too much, but people were, he should be out a full year. And it's like, I finally responded.
Yeah.
I said, I had surgery April 7th of 2016. Mm-hmm. I had my first match back in August that year. And we had the same surgery. Like, some people they heal faster. I mean, it all depends on your lifestyle. At the time, I was pretty healthy besides eating Reese's and ice cream. Mm-hmm. Don't drink, don't do drugs, and I rehabbed the right way because I knew I wanted to get back in the ring. And I think Will, obviously, at the time, I was selling tools on a Snap-on truck. So Will, I think, has a lot more resources than I did at the time. So I can't imagine why he couldn't come back right away.
Well, he looked great, and then he went off the top, and I'm thinking, holy shit, here we go.
Yeah.
QT, tell us the difference between the independent wrestler you look for, the type that you think will succeed, and the ones that won't. Like, what are some habits you think are indicative of a guy who's going to make it and going to be a star? And what are the bad habits of some talent? You don't have to name any names where you're like, when they do this, I know that's not a good sign.
So from a fan, like, obviously there's stuff they do in the back, and it's just the way they handle themselves, the way they talk to each other. I've witnessed it a lot, and I don't think I've really ever been guilty of it as much as I've seen, where somebody like, I'm going to do this, and then you have to sell like this. And I'm thinking, if you said that to me, you're going to get a right fist to the face, and then you sell however how hard I hit you. Right. So there's those types of things, which, that'll just get you out of there the fastest way. But I think the biggest thing is, again, our job is just to, service the audience, but you have to know the audience. And honestly, every independent show is completely different. And if you're not watching the matches before you, if you're not looking at what types of fans walking in the door, if you're just back there calling your stuff, then, on the independent level, right? AEW, I think we kind of know, right? Right. We kind of know what kind of fans are coming, but like, if I wrestle an independent show in Georgia and then I go to Philly, it's going to be two different types of fans. So you have to, they're going to expect it. And also, like, and this is something I learned from going to a lot of seminars and so on and so forth. If it's a bunch of kids with their moms, you can kind of get away with a little more hokey stuff. If it's a bunch of, grown men, they're just going to want to see, like, hard hitting, stuff that looks really good. For instance, I remember going to I did a show once at he put his foot on my chest, dude. I was
like a conquering king.
I was so mad. I wasn't, like Brock, I wasn't like him tonight.
Yeah.
I was, bro, don't ever put your foot on my chest again, man. I'm only laying here because, I own the company.
Dylan wrote scripts for this because he knew I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. So we had AI write a script, and he wanted me at the end right there to say, a go-go standing over QT like a conquering king. And I'm like,
wow, okay.
What a rib. This is the one. And there was another line in there. He's like, well, just try it. And it was, buckle up, partner.
He sends me every now and then, he'll send me an AI script, and I can tell it's AI because some of the words are bold still.
Yes.
And, and you can actually tell AI to not bold the words. Just say no bold, please. And it'll change it right up for you. This way, nobody knows. We have one talent that sends me pitches all the time. And I know that for 1FW. And I know that he's not really the texting type, let's put it that way.
Okay.
And he sent in this long pitch. His name is Nasty Leroy. And
I know that man, Nasty Leroy.
Yeah, that man, GCW legend. He pulled a gun during the pandemic. And
why wouldn't he?
He sent me man, that guy has an AEW paycheck, is the best thing in the world.
What?
Yeah, he went to AEW Dynamite with Joey Janela versus Cody Rhodes on Dynamite. He was in the front row, and we paid him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I don't think he's ever cashed a check, honestly. But anyway, he sent me I didn't even respond to the actual pitch. All I wrote was, "Who wrote this for you?" And then he fessed up. He told me, AI. It's all right. It was just, but
that's awesome.
But yeah, like I said, I think the biggest thing, going back to what I was saying before, is I did a show once at the Harley Davidson shop where they sell the bikes down in Florida.
Right.
These two guys went out there and they were like chain wrestling and stuff. And I was only like 2 years in. And then the guy I wrestled, his name was Rico something. I don't remember. He looked like an older Scott Steiner without the muscles, but he came out with the chain, deal on his head. And we didn't talk at all. And I was like, all right, I don't know how this is going to go. I just moved to Florida at the time. And literally the bell rang and he just went outside the ring and grabbed the chair and the crowd just went crazy. And I was like, I guess we're going to start hitting each other with chairs. And I remember thinking, like, he gave them what they wanted,
Yeah, right.
Going back to like Hog Wild, Road Wild, the things that got over were like the big stars and probably anything where they're, hitting someone with a chair, because those are all bikers, or the wrestling has to be incredible. And my wrestling is good. It's not incredible. So, I'm not Eddie Guerrero going out there and doing what he could do. So,
yeah, well, no one is. No one has been ever since. We have some questions for QT.
Not really.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. If you'll put it up there, Dave Silva, we'll read it. This is from James O'Quara. Was there any wrestler you saw for the first time and knew they would become successful?
Harley Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there you go.
And honestly, I saw a clip of her wrestling, but it was more about just who she is and how she stood out as a person. And, we always say wrestling is one of those things that if you're walking through the mall and you trip and you get embarrassed, it's probably not the sport for you.
Yeah.
And she's definitely not one of those people.
No.
So, I remember, right away going to Tony and saying like, hey, I think we found somebody that, is going to do really well. But of course, she didn't have the reputation of being an independent star and going to Japan and doing all these other things. And we had just hired Mariah May and a bunch of people, and, but she paid her dues and she's done really well. I mean, MJF just put her over huge on an interview. So it's not just me, right?
Right. Well, listen, what a find. What a
actually, and honestly, MJF's another one that I saw at the Monster Factory in like 2015.
Right.
And I thought, all right, he gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Gentlemen, start your boners. It's time to level up. Blue Chew just dropped something crazy. I'm talking next level championship belt, gold-plated energy. And this ain't the David Arquette of the big gold belt era. No, sir. This is Goldberg on an undefeated streak. It's Blue Chew Gold, the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. Your wiener's going to say, no, yob. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standard for performance. We got 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to turn up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. Check this out, man. Blue Chew Gold dissolves under your tongue, and it works in as little as 15 minutes, and then you're going to be a 60-minute man, baby. That means you can get it on quicker and stay in the game longer. Hit her with that old Ric Flair. You're going to find out that jumping on's a lot easier than jumping off. Elevation without hesitation, peak passion, and peak performance in a single tablet. The Nature Boy called his gimmick Space Mountain. What are you going to call yours? I don't know what you're going to call yours, but I know if your bed could talk after this, it'd be asking for a break. I give, I tap. Make your life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with the promo code WHW. That's promo code WHW. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast with your rock hard ding dong.
Okay.
Well, let's give QT Marshal a shot this weekend. Rome, Georgia is the place to be. 1FWLive.com. But Tony, we got another question here.
When your wrestling day is done and someone asks you about your career, what are some of the matches or moments you tell them you are most proud of?
Yambag Jones. Is that
Isn't that a
Taz?
great name? Yes, it is Taz.
Man, I think, obviously the stuff I did during the pandemic, the bunkhouse match, in AEW, I've been very fortunate that like I've done a lot of like the first things. I had Mr. Brody Lee, the late great Mr. Brody Lee's first debut match in AEW. And that was just because Tony trusted me to go out there in front of no fans and, put on a match that could obviously help Brody get to where he needed to go. He didn't need my help, but he did need somebody in the ring that night. Obviously, Paul White's first match, the first ever bunkhouse match, the first ever strap match. It was on the first ever Blood and Guts episode. So those are things for me that, I've just always been around, I guess, right place, right time. But then obviously the Big Boom AJ thing we did at Full Gear.
Yeah.
Paul Walter Hauser. There's been a lot. A lot of the things I've done that I'm really proud of is like, it was maybe on Dark as well. Like when we wrestled Action Andretti and, he was able to earn a job off of it, which was funny because I told him beforehand that he was going to get a job after the match. Right. I was just a little in my feelings that day and I wanted the company to spend money. So I didn't get what I wanted. So
right.
It cost them a wrestler's contract. But yeah, just overall, like those are the moments. But I think more than anything is that I just like to help people. I think I think people should be able to, the fans that know a little bit more than, just a casual viewer. I think they can look at what I've done and just realize like, okay, this guy just did what was supposed to be done. I really never went into business for myself. I just try to go out there and, and entertain and put something out there that the fans could be proud of, It's not everyone's cup of tea, but for me, it seems to work.
Don't you think in a nutshell, it's the impact that you've had on AEW on many different levels? I mean, it's true. Come on. It really is.
Deep down.
I mean, you're a senior vice president, Yeah.
Wild, huh? I was Cody's assistant.
Yeah, I know about that.
Making less than developmental guys.
Snap-on tools, senior VP. How about that, brother?
Yeah.
Who typed the first Dynamite format? That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah. I sat with Keith Mitchell and we put it together. I saw Cody writing a format for Double or Nothing, and I said, "Oh, I want to do that." And then I didn't realize those were the last words I would ever speak. But no, I mean, obviously in the wrestling business, to be like Cody, whenever I talk to Cody and if there's ever an opportunity that I'm in my feelings or I'm not feeling a certain way, he always, puts it into perspective. Like there's two companies in the United States. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the world really, besides New Japan, CMLL, there's two major wrestling organizations and you're like in the top 10 probably most important people. Like that's kind of wild consider. And I say that I use those words to kind of say to my kids all the time, like, I always say this, don't try to carny me because the name QT Marshal doesn't really hold a lot of value as a big star. How am I the number? How am I where I am?
Right.
Unless you know how to be a carny, you know what I mean? So it's just much easier if you just ask me what you want, you know, and then I can tell you if we can make it happen or we can't, and I'm very big on that. I think the main reason I've gotten to where I've gotten is just by being honest and working hard and just shooting straight with people all the time, because one of the rules I learned from a buddy of mine was, what we do backstage should be all honest, because the stuff we do out there that's where we get to have fun and be creative and kind of lie to people. So,
right. I often say that if Tony Khan's the Godfather, you're Luca Brasi.
Oh, how about that?
Send Luca Brasi. We're having trouble. Send Luca Brasi out to take care of it.
And then I go out there and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. You're like, I don't know. Today's not your day. Tomorrow will be better.
Right. Good
QT,
stuff,
we
man.
do have another fan question, but before we do it, I do want to ask, what do you think people, because you're on Twitter, you see what people say and what the haters or the super fans think. What do you think is maybe the most misunderstood thing about Tony Khan?
Well, obviously the biggest one is when people say like he doesn't know what he's doing, which is wild to me because you can't. Again, another thing putting into perspective, we sold out the crypto.com arena. You know what I mean? And obviously that has to do with talent and just everything, but it's not like we're household names as a company. You know what I mean? Like there's still people out there that watch wrestling, but they don't know what AEW is because, you know, it's a different type of company. So whenever I see that, I get really offended because I see the passion and I see the hard work that he puts into this stuff. And again, because he calls me, you know, late hours and I could just see that this is what he really loves.
Yes.
So that does bother me. I know it probably doesn't bother him, but it definitely bothers me when I see it because it's definitely misunderstood. Because like I said, he obviously, there's times where he'll tell me what he's going to do on a Dynamite or something. And I'll tell him like, oh, I don't think that's what we should do. I think maybe we should try this, you know, just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll put it out on Twitter and all the comments are like, yeah, Tony, you got it. You know? And I'm just like, man, he was right. He was right. You know, because that's how he thinks, right? Like he's a diehard wrestling fan, as am I, but I think a little bit differently. You know, I try to think of things a little bit differently. And I think that's why obviously we have such a great relationship is that, you know, I learn a lot from him and, you know, he takes my opinion sometimes and he switches them around or he says no to them or whatever, but at least I am there to give a different perspective on certain things. Like I said, obviously Big Boom AJ compared to, you know, Takeshita versus John Moxley, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with Tony Khan that's misunderstood is, you know, a lot of people think like he just, you know, but I don't know. And I think the other thing is that, I mean, he's just the greatest boss. He really is. You know, people say that because he's the boss, right? And he's going to pay us. But like, I've had bosses before that paid decent, you know, and other lines of work, and they just sucked. You know, he doesn't, you know.
It's a good human being. I mean, he really is a good person.
He really is. I mean, there's, you know, like if you're not feeling well or you just don't feel like coming to work one day, you know, he'll be the kind of guy that's like, you know what, you could take the day off, you know?
Right.
And obviously just don't take advantage of that stuff. But yeah, he's just an all around good dude. But again, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, Conrad, is that, you know, that people don't think he knows what he's doing when it comes to certain aspects of booking and stuff like that, you know?
Well, this was fabulous, man. I appreciate all the time. We've got one more fan question. I think Dave Silva says we've got one here. It says, you're an accomplished bodybuilder. I know that takes a lot of time. How do you balance it all? That is interesting. You did have a body resurgence in the last few years. How did that come to be?
You know, I guess when I left AEW in 2023, well, right before that, I started getting pushed pretty hard at AAA. And then Conan, obviously that was his brainchild of putting me in a top position. And I just remember thinking, okay, well, if I'm finally getting, at the time I was managing Powerhouse Hobbs. So I kind of knew my role. It was like, oh, I'm going to manage Powerhouse Hobbs and kind of help him. And Harley was going to be there and Solo. And this was more about them. But they kind of need me as the guy to kind of, I guess, keep the heat on people, whatever the reason was. And obviously that's not what I wanted to do. You know, I like wrestling. As I made a whole company just so I could wrestle every week. So after, you know, I started doing the stuff in AAA, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go for it. And one thing I really never did, I did it up until I signed with Ring of Honor. I was in pretty good shape when I signed, but then I hurt my neck and I couldn't really work out. And I just didn't, I had a lot of stuff going on in my life that I didn't really care as much. So I was just always out of shape. And I was always in okay shape, but not, you know, what I guess a top guy would look like. So I just kind of put that together. I asked Billy Gunn, who was my road partner at the time, if he could get me in touch with his trainer that got him ready for his show. His name's Ferlin. He's great. And yeah. And then the next year I just said, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show. And I remember everyone looking at me like, okay, sure. because I love eating candy and stuff like that. But it's very difficult to maintain. It's probably not as healthy as you'd want to be, especially when you're wrestling. But at the same time, like I said, I mean, I think yesterday at the crypto, there was a lot of people backstage that when they saw me getting warmed up for the match, and that's all they talk about now. It's like that I look 10 years younger and then I'm in fantastic shape. So, obviously, I say this about wrestling all the time. Like it's really not a hard formula to be somewhat successful in it. But I think that's one of the things that you can control, that if you just put your mind to it, you could do it. And that was the other thing I really wanted to show people, that you could do, that you could do it. And so that's how that came about. And once it happened, I was like, well, I don't want to go back to the other thing. But then I did, right? When you see Paul Walter Hauser versus me, you can see I got a little bigger again. Yeah. It's not really wrestling as much. So,
wow. Well, yeah. QT, let's once again tell the people, Conrad, about the event coming up in Rome this weekend. Looking forward to it.
It's this Saturday, and I'm pretty fired up about it. You can grab your tickets right now at 1FWlive.com. Or, of course, you can just throw it in your Google machine or check out the description in today's show. It's the Rumble in Rome. It's a television taping for 1FW. If you've never seen the television program, it's available for free on Triller TV every Wednesday night. That's 1FW Live. QT, this was fantastic. Can't wait to see you in Rome. Appreciate all the time today, man. This was fun.
Of course. Thank you. I had a lot of fun. I'm excited this weekend at that show. I get to wrestle Andrade. And I'm the boss, so I can make anything happen. But I wanted to wrestle Andrade when I was the Latin American champion, but it never happened. So I'm very excited for it. But he's a different Andrade. So he's on a whole nother level. So I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with him. I just watched what he did with Bandito last night, literally right before we started this. And I thought, I don't know, man. I might have bit off a little more than I could chew,
Well, for no reason in particular, I, my friend, am pulling for you. So good luck this Saturday.
I appreciate it. I'll give him a nice stiff one,
I appreciate that. The whole family does. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to sign off this one by saying the same thing we always say, QT, after a show is over. We did it.
We did it. That's right.
We did it, buddy. Thanks for being here, bud.
Of course, guys. Thank you so much.
Right, see you later, bud. Tony, how great is QT? That's one of my favorite visits we've ever had here on the show.
He has such the great attitude about pro wrestling. He is such a great coach. He is so great behind the scenes. I mean, and listen, it's not easy behind the scenes. Don't let the calmness of QT that you heard right there fool you. And from what we heard from Sanjay, QT and Sanjay are like 1 and 2 in the company next to Tony, no doubt. And they are our senior vice presidents, and it ain't easy, man. It's really not an easy job, but they come out all the time, looking great. Really do.
Well, they're doing a fabulous job. AEW has had a resurgence. The last several months have been fantastic. We appreciate Sanjay last week and certainly QT this week. The best thing you could do for QT and for wrestling, though, is to support your local independent. So if for some reason you're not in the Rome area, go to an indie show this weekend. Support these guys and gals. It's good for all of us.
Yeah.
But Tony, right now, it looks like it's about that time.
And don't forget to watch 1FW on Triller. It's free of charge each and every Wednesday at 6:30, right before Dynamite hits the air. And this week we're out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When. Wednesdays we come to you on the Libsyn Podcasting Network. But each and every Mondays we come to you free and only on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, ringclassics.com.